Guys, sorry about that. I had to go out and come back to the live stream. Something, somebody called me and it was a really important call, so I had to answer it. So I have to turn off my live stream and turn back on. So I received a legitimate message from YouTube talking about vertical streams. So whatever I heard from other vloggers about vertical streams, attracting more viewers and attracting perhaps more subscribers if they like your content. So I'm trying this vertical stream format as much as I can when I have a spare minute. I'm cooking in my kitchen. I'm Kate B. I live in sunny Florida. It's about 6:21 here today. I just went to the grocery store to bought all the ingredients for the borscht. I probably told you in the morning, I came out in the morning to tell you the part 2 of my story of betrayal, of broken heart and betrayal. So thank you for watching my previous 2 live streams. Thank you for all your views. Thank you for giving me your time. And I have a suggestion. If you don't want to watch me and take a long time to watch my streams, you can always watch them later on play speed 2 or 1.5. And this way, if the stream is a 1 hour, it's going to take you way less to listen to all my stories. And I believe that if you watching my live stream later, recorded live stream, you can adjust your time. And when you play it back in the speed 2 or 1.5, I think it's a little more funny because I talk a little faster when you play back on the higher speed, and I think it adds a little bit to the fun format of live streams. But again, I'm here in my kitchen. I'm trying this new bouillon I bought. It says better than bouillon. I'm gonna add it to my stock. I only got a little bit of meat on the bone, so I'm boiling my meat. I already put my meat on the stove to get the meat stock, and I also gonna add some of this because someone recommended this for me, and I bought it at Costco, and it's pretty much concentrated bouillon from seasoned roasted chicken. So hopefully it's good. I'm gonna add a few spoons just to get to make my borscht a little bit more fatty and a little bit more full of protein. What's that? Is it liquid? Yes, it's called better than bouillon, and it's supposed to be concentrated bouillon. So it's, I think, or maybe no, it doesn't look like it's liquid. It looks like more like a paste, but I haven't opened it yet. Let's open and see. Somebody recommended me as a good base for soups because it's concentrated and it's made of real broth. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It's a very concentrated broth. So it's bouillon, better than bouillon. And it's less sodium. It says 50% less sodium, and it's organic roasted chicken, made from organic roasted chicken base. Oh, it's organic roasted chicken base. It's good for cooking, good for soups, good for bouillons. And since I have a little bit of meat on the bone, just for my borscht, I like to use real meat. And I have a bigger, you can see I have a bigger pot. I think this will come handy. Giyat. Welcome, Isabella. Welcome. I'll check. Costco. Yes, in Costco. So, for my soup, I have... Who's there? Папа, ты не поехал за Стеллой?
Они сами поехали.
Хорошо. For my borscht, I have regular ingredients. I bought big head of white cabbage. I bought 2 beets. Beets is the main ingredient for the borscht. I bought potatoes. I'm gonna use potatoes. I have some carrots. And I have lots of greens. I got green onion. I got this leek. I also have regular yellow onion, and I have lots of herbs. I have parsley, and I have this is dill for my borscht at the end. So borscht is a liquid soup that mainly made from vegetables. You can use, if you want to have a vegetable dish, you don't use meat, you don't use your base or like meat stock. If you want, this message is held for review. View messages. Oh, I have 6 viewers. Thank you for being with me. So what I'm trying to say, since I'm traveling, my dad's staying at home alone, I'd like him to have some food for a couple of days. So he loves borscht, he loves soups, he survives on soups. So, пап, ты будешь мне помогать? Можешь порезать капусту для меня? Будь другом, пожалуйста. Порежешь капусту? Ну, тут нету места, ты там порежь на столе. Спасибо. So my dad is here to help me cut the cabbage, because sometimes it takes a long time to cut the cabbage. I'm gonna peel my vegetables. And again, borscht is very famous soup. A lot of people in Eastern Europe, like we are from Moldova, you can eat soup in Moldova, you can find soup in Ukraine, you can find soup in Russia, you can find soup in Belarus. All the Eastern European countries and Central European countries from former Soviet Union, they all enjoy this beet soup. And Americans don't necessarily like beets, but beets are very healthy for you. And because of the beets, the soup has a very deep red color. So, okay, you probably, can you hear me well? Thank you for sticking with me. I have 30 people. Yes, we're cooking borscht. My dad is a great helper. He always helps me cook. If I need to peel my veggies, I call him from on the way home and I ask him to peel the veggies. But today, I didn't bring the veggies yet. I just went to the grocery store to buy everything fresh. That's why I asked him to cut some cabbage for me. So he's pretty much my food processor. He's my sous chef, and I really appreciate him for that. And again, because I'm going to be traveling with my family, with my girls for the long weekend and competition in another town, and meeting my friend to hang out on Sunday and Monday. I'm cooking a big pot of soup. Here is my big pot of soup on the stove. Говорят, что американцы не готовят дома. Of course, no, everybody cooks, like Americans can cook too. I've been to a lot of American houses and they cook good food. They cook very good fresh food. It depends. So,
Весь?
Да. Порежь, пожалуйста, весь. То, что не используем борщ, сделаем салат с горошком. Okay, my dad is asking if he has to slice the whole big cabbage. And why I like to slice the whole big cabbage, because some of it I'm going to use in the borscht, and another part can be used in the salad. We have very famous salad. I don't remember if it's Moldovan salad, it's probably. So if you have leftover of white cabbage, you can add peas, canned peas, cabbage, lots of herbs, greens, green onion, a little bit of what you call it, vinegar, and olive oil, and it's gonna make fresh spring salad from the cabbage. So I'm gonna make it too. It's very healthy. Okay, I'm gonna have 2 carrots. I already peeled my carrots, and I'm going to peel 3 potatoes. Welcome to my live stream. I have 23 viewers. Thank you for stopping by. We are cooking borscht. I'm in the kitchen. I'm Kate B. Sometimes you may see my shorts about my cooking skills. I like to cook fresh food for my family, and I believe I inherited very good cooking skills from my mom, because my mom was very good cook. Back when I was growing up, everything was made from scratch, and people have certain foods that could feed the family and last for a couple of days. So borscht, and I think I also told my viewers in the morning when I was telling my heartbroken story that I learned like a really sad world news this morning. I'm not gonna go into details, but that news made me very, very sad with everything that's going on. And I noticed that borscht is something that makes everything feel a little better. So in the situations when I'm not in a good mood, I go through like a rough patch emotionally, I believe that soup has this beet soup, borscht has the superpowers to make everything feel a little better, a little brighter. So, and you know, if you have those traditions in your house, and again, I like to cook something because my dad not gonna cook a lot for himself, and borscht will last him for like 3 days when we will be out. Tomorrow I'll take you to a fun place. Tomorrow we are staying in one of the very famous hotels in the Disney area. The hotel is called Gaylord Palms. It's a huge resort, big hotel with indoor water slides and attractions. So we are staying there tomorrow for a day just to hang out and get ready and get relaxed before the big day on Sunday, because my daughter is competing in a presidential meet in Disney. I forgot what it's called, Sports Authority. It's a big Disney arena. It's very big competition when a lot of gymnasts come from all over the country, and also there are gymnasts that come in from other countries. So it's a pretty big meet in Florida for gymnasts. So Stella's gonna compete on Sunday morning. That's why she's competing early morning. We live about 15 minutes away from Disney. So instead of getting up really early at 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, it is easier for us to stay in one of the hotels very close to the venue. And this way we can be relaxed and we can get up around like 7 and get ready, maybe like even earlier. We have to get up at 6 probably, but if we would stay home, we would get up like at 4 or 5 in the morning, which is like really rough before the competition to drive somewhere far. So we decided to stay not far from the venue. So on the morning of the competition, we'll be up at 6 o'clock and we're gonna get ready in the hotel, and we're gonna just drive like 5 minutes from the hotel to the venue where the competition will take place. Okay, for my borscht, I'm going to use 3 big potatoes, 2 carrots, and 2 beets. And of course, I had an average size of cabbage, and I'm gonna use maybe 3/4 of cabbage because as much as I like my borscht to be, you know, to be thick, I don't overcook my vegetables, and I try to, since today I'm adding this one to my bouillon, to my base, I don't want my soup to be super thick, so I'm not gonna put a lot of potatoes. I think for my big pot, it's probably, the pot is probably, I don't know, 5 liters, like 1.5 gallons, maybe 2 gallons. No, maybe 1.5 gallons. So, thank you for sticking with me. You can ask me questions. Today, let me show you what's going on here. So, can you see well? Okay, this is called scum, and you know how some people are really bad and you want to call them scumbag, and that's where it comes from. Scum is a little foam that forms after you boil some meat on the bone. Scum is just an extra fat that comes out from the bone, and when you cook your soup based on the meat broth, you want to take the scum off. So, and it's easily, I don't know how you call the strainer. The strainer, yeah, maybe you call it strainer, but that's how you do it. So for me to cook nice, and I added some peppercorn, and I added some bay leaves. That's when we cook the bouillon. When we cook the stock, we usually add dry herbs, or we add bay leaf. I hope everybody knows what is bay leaf. Bay leaf. You can find in the Spanish aisle, they have bay leaf. And I think it grows in Florida too, but okay. So I get the scum off because I want my base, I want my soup base to be very clear and nice and, you know, extra fat off. Okay. Still here with me. Thank you, two viewers. So again, tomorrow, if you stick with me, I'm gonna take you on a fun adventure in the water park in one of the famous Orlando hotels, which is called Gaylord Palms. On Sunday, I will take you to the competition. Maybe I'll do the live stream if the internet permits. Just to show you the atmosphere of the big competition. It's usually very fun to watch. Lots of clubs come in for that competition. So maybe if you stay with me, you tune in on Saturday or Sunday, I show you the big gymnastic competitions. And of course, after my daughter performs her routines and everything will go great, I'm gonna share new videos about her competition routines, and those videos, they're the most that get watched. I got a lot of views for my daughter's gymnastics routine. Everybody loves her performance. Everybody loves her, you know, how she do the floor exercise, how she does beam, how she shows her gymnastics skills, and I'm very proud of her. So stay tuned. On Sunday, I'll have more new videos about her competition. So in the meantime, I get my green onions ready. What I do, I cut those little things, and then I wash and I let them dry. I let them lay on the piece of paper towel and dry. And then I use this beautiful green onion at the end to garnish my soup. So for my vegetables, I dice my potato, and potato will be the first thing that goes after the meat is halfway cooked. The potatoes will be the first ingredient to go in the soup. And for the potatoes, I'm gonna dice my potatoes. But for my beets and for my carrots, I use, oh my gosh, I forgot the word. How do you call this thing? How do you call this thing? Grated cheese. So I'm gonna grate vegetables on this piece of equipment. So for the carrots and for the beets, I'm gonna dice my onions too. So I'm gonna peel my yellow onion, and for the onion, I'm gonna dice my onion. I'm gonna fry some onions before I put them in a soup. I'm gonna fry onions together with grated vegetables, together with carrots and beets. I'm gonna kind of stew them first in the frying pan. So together with onion, it gets like, I stew them before I put in my soup, so they kind of get like flavors all together in. And when I cook them in the frying pan, I add just a little bit of forget the word, sorry, vinegar. If you have lemon juice, you can add a little bit of lemon juice when you cook beets and carrots, because this way they're gonna keep the color, and that's what gives your soup beautiful bright red or like dark pink color. In Moldova, we also add tomato paste to our borscht, and tomato paste can also be added in a frying pan when you how you call it so when you saute your carrots and beets. So I'm going to add the tomato juice. Perhaps I can, no, maybe I can grate fresh tomatoes. I have some of fresh tomatoes I can peel, and I'm gonna show you the trick. Hi, I have 2 viewers. Thank you for sticking with me. So we're at the end of the week. How is your week going? Oh, sorry. I hope everybody had a good work week. I had a relatively good week, very busy, but I finished one of my projects, so I was happy, and I have to help with some other projects around the library. So what we're gonna do, we go into, we're going to use this big bowl, and maybe if my dad will be done with them, and we are going to, using this part, this grater, we're gonna grate our so let me show you what I'm doing. That's how you grate. That's a lot of work. But you're using your cooking skills like meditation, you know, you cook with love, you focus on all the fresh ingredients that goes to your body after you eat your borscht with fresh garlic, and you garnish it with the sour cream. It gives you warm feelings of childhood, how your mom cooked it and how you inherited the tradition of beet soup. And it warms your soul and it warms up your heart. So, and it definitely can cheer you up when you are experiencing a little blues. My dad is really good in helping me. Okay, that's why you need an apron. Yeah, we were used to wearing aprons because when you grate, see how red is the beets? So you don't want your beautiful white shirt to have all this beet juice on it, and that's why you wear an apron. I'm like a real chef. Yeah, come to Kate's Bee Kitchen, cook with me. Today is borscht. We're cooking borscht live. Why not? Очумелые ручки, look. Gourmet kitchen. Borscht. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and like. I have 3 viewers. Thank you. Говорят, что американцы не готовят. Okay, who was that? Вадимыч. Oh, Вадимыч. You must be a guy. Вы что, мужчина? А что вы делаете на женском канале? Okay, I'm just speaking a little bit Russian because I saw a guy who asked me a question if Americans cook. Yes, Americans cook very much like any other people in the world. So we Americans that cook. We are true Americans with Eastern European roots that know how to cook and who appreciate fresh meals from scratch. So we do cook. Okay. It's a lot of work, but you know, sometimes when you're stressed, it helps you to release the stress. I believe when you're doing, hi, welcome, slay. So I believe when you're doing, I'm cooking borscht, beet soup. I think we should teach our kids that if you're stressed, you know, why kids love fidget toys, like why kids love fidget spinners, why kids love to do something with little toys, fidgeting, because it takes off the pressure, takes off the stress. So I do believe if you teach your kids to cook, cooking, making something with your hands and doing certain manipulations in the kitchen, it's also very beneficial for your mind and body. It lets you release the stress. It's almost like instead of fidget spinner, you're doing something meaningful. You're peeling your vegetables, you're slicing your vegetables, you're putting your dish together, and it is a therapy for your body and mind, and it takes bad thoughts away. It kind of distracts you from the hustles of the day. So I don't know why people generally don't love to cook, why some people think it's a huge chore to cook. I find it very therapeutic to cook. And then when you cook your own meals, you can control your sugar intakes, you can control your fat intakes, you can control your salt intakes. So when people order from the restaurants, most of the times they eat extra sodium, they eat extra ingredients, extra fats, extra saturated fats, and it's not very healthy to eat out constantly. Like, we don't eat out very often, but when we eat very delicate food, something that I cannot eat at home, like cannot cook at home. So I don't like to eat out because I have very high standards for my food to be handled and to be cooked and to be healthy. And when I cook at home, I have control of what ingredients I put in my cooking. So I can always tell that it's going to be fresh food, it's going to be good quality food, and it's going to be something I cooked with love and I put my soul in it. Thank you for sticking with me. Slate girl, where are you from? Write me a comment. Where are you watching? I thought those vertical streams gonna be a little more popular, but I don't have a lot of viewers stopping by. Again, see? Giant mess. Okay, so what's for dinner on your Friday night? Please drop me a line. What's cooking? What's on your stove? Are you eating healthy? So, what you want to talk about? Do you want to listen more stories about my love life before I got married? Do you want to listen stories from the past? Do you want to listen the story how I got involved in the criminal case? Yeah, that would be interesting. I think I was thinking what else I can tell from my wild adventures in Eastern Europe. I can probably tell you a story how I got involved in the criminal case. Yeah, why not? So it's going to be cooking borscht, since I told you about all the ingredients, and I'm going to just put things together. There is not much to show you until my soup will be ready. Maybe it's going to be a fun story to tell, and I can call my stream Cooking and Criminal Story that happened to me, that I was involved in the criminal case and corrupted judicial system of Republic of Moldova. Yeah, very corrupted, very, very corrupted judicial system. I'm glad I am alive, considering what could have happened, and that I was pressured to back off. Okay, so do you want to listen to that story? Thank you for sticking with me. Okay, so this is how it turns out. My this is carrots and beets. Okay, hold on. Don't want to get my beautiful white shirt and my big giant boob get orange or pink color because of my vegetables. Of course, you can do it with the food processor, but again, You know, it's my little workout for my biceps when I do it manually. And since my dad is helping me with the cabbage, it saves me time, a lot of time too. And from here, when you peel all the vegetables, it's been 30 minutes. So it probably takes you about 30 minutes to peel everything and get everything ready. And it will take you about another 30 minutes to put everything together. And again, I'm gonna dice onion. I'm gonna saute onion, beets and carrots in the frying pan with a little bit of olive oil and vinegar to keep the colors. And while I'm doing that, my potatoes will be boiling, diced and boiling. 5 minutes after I start with potatoes. 5 minutes after the potatoes, I put the cabbage, because cabbage takes about 20 minutes to cook. Maybe even less, maybe 15 minutes to cook. But while I'm putting cabbage, my sauteed beets and carrots and onions will be almost ready. So I'm gonna just add them at the end and my borscht will be ready. So it will probably take you about an hour to cook the borscht, like depending on how fast you can peel your vegetables, and if you have your wonderful sous chef to help you with some cutting. Or maybe you have equipment, maybe you have a food processor, maybe you have this special, it's called like a chopper or mandolin. I think it's called mandolin, when you can just grate your vegetables more easily. And then I'm going to use my leek at the very end. I'm gonna put the leek at the very end. I'm gonna put the leek at the very end, and I'm going to peel some garlic too. I got some garlic, because at the end I like to put few cloves of garlic. Maybe I add garlic to my borscht. Okay. And for the I also like to add tomatoes to my borscht, because tomatoes add a little bit of sour taste, and I just like tomatoes in my borscht. So I'm gonna prepare my leek. Okay. So it will be time, I think my meat is almost ready. It will be time to put my potatoes. I'm going to dice my potatoes. And again, you don't need to dice them super small. Just, dice them so they don't get overcooked fast. Don't dice them like average. So, do you want to, I have two viewers, do you want to listen to the criminal story? Okay, now it's time to tell you an interesting criminal story. The criminal story happened to me in the year of, I believe in the year of 2000. Yes, 2000. In the year of 2000, maybe like 2001. Yes, it happened to me in 2001. Was it 2001? Yeah, I think it was 2001 when it happened to me. So what happened? What kind of criminal story was that? In the year 2001, yes. I was working for a family for many years as a babysitter, and we're still friends with this family, and I'm very grateful I met. They became like my second family. They had 3 kids, and I was working as a nanny in their family, and I cooked and I cleaned for them. I helped clean and cook too, but they paid me really well, so I stayed with them through the years while they had children. So this family, they were they had like a special project. They worked in Moldova, so they were foreigners in the Republic of Moldova, and of course they made a little better money than other people. Okay, спасибо, папа. Давай, иди. Okay, I'm ready to add my potatoes. That's how I diced my potatoes. I'm going to add my potatoes in my borscht. I'm gonna... Okay. So, and I'm gonna put 5 minutes, because after 5 minutes I'm going to add my cabbage. So for the broth, see, when I was cooking meat, a lot of water evaporated. So in order to add a little bit more broth to my... Спасибо, папа. In order to add a little bit more broth to my pot, I'm gonna boil some water, and I'm gonna add this interesting better than bouillon thing. I'll probably add 1 cup of... maybe I'll add 2 spoons of those, and I'll add a big cup of boiling water. Okay, so here is the big cabbage. My dad did a great job getting the cabbage ready for me. And now we're gonna dice some onions with you, and we'll be ready to fry. We'll be ready to saute the veggies. Okay, it's a giant mess here, so I have to clean it up a little bit before I can get out my... Just give me a sec. Okay, so the story. So I lived in that family, and that family rented a big, nice house in the center of the town. We lived in the city, yeah, in like you call it downtown, I guess, in the center of the capital of Moldova, Chisinau. So this house had an entrance from the street, and it has a metal gate, and inside of this yard there were 1, 2, 3, 4. The houses were kind of like attached. They were like townhouses, and they were 1-story townhouses that were attached. So in one yard there were like 4 houses attached to each other. So when they rented, the people I worked for, they rented that first house. When you get to the gate, the first house on the first entrance to the house on the left, and another 1, 2, 3, and another 3 houses were a little further in the yard. So also there was 3-car garage right on the left side when you get to the gate in the entrance to them from the street. And the gates were usually like the big gates for the car to get in were locked with a big lock, but the smaller door, the smaller gate where you just get without the car, was most of the times wasn't locked. It was always like pretty open. You didn't need the key for that, but of course you need the key to unlock the door to each house. And the neighbors who lived in that, who shared the same yard, like the neighbors of the foreigners, they seemed to be nice families. They would say hello. They were very nice, modest people. Nothing, they didn't have fancy cars, and they have 20-year-old son who always had company. And the kids who come to visit their son, the crowd that came to visit their son wasn't always very good crowd. Like, you could tell, like, kids would smoke, kids would drink, kids would party, smoke outside. But when the foreigners lived there, everything was quiet. There were no major commotions going on. So these people would work in Moldova, and then they would leave after the contract was over, but their rent wasn't over. And before the new people started the rent, they asked me to babysit the house because I had to keep it clean, and I had to go there and to check everything was working properly. The AC was working, the heater was working. Okay. After 5 minutes, after our potatoes started to boil, we're gonna add our cabbage. Yay! So see how everything is boiling here? We're gonna add cabbage. Okay. And again, I'm going to add like half of this big bowl of cabbage. Yeah, half of the хороший борщ будет у нас. Борщ makes me really happy. Okay, anyways, so they paid me to just go and babysit the house, and I would go there and like clean up or just stay there, spend a couple of hours there. And I have a friend and another friend who I just invited there to have a cup of coffee. So I did have visitors. I should admit that I was babysitting the house. I didn't make huge parties, but I kind of brought friends there, like, who cares? So something happened a year before. The house got robbed a year before because the people I worked for, they went on vacation, and the house got robbed. But back in the day, people like who robbed the house, like it was a burglary, they couldn't find like really good things. There were no jewelry, there were no money, there were no cash in the house. So the people who robbed the house, they just stole like VCRs, TV, and cassettes. Like, remember, there were VHS cassettes and like video recorders. So they stole like some like things that wasn't of a big value, but the whole idea of somebody breaking into the house was really nasty, and the police wouldn't do an investigation because they considered that if people were not there and there were nothing like too much of a value, it's nothing to investigate. But when that burglary took place, let's say it was before 2001, it was like maybe a year before 2001, it was in early 2000. So during the burglary, the thieves stole keys, and were car keys. And the car was pretty new. The car was in the garage, and it has a key to the garage. Like it was not only one key to the car. It was a key to the garage. It was the key to the car, and it was there, and it was stolen among other like few things like TVs and VCRs and I don't know, recording, like player or something. So the police in Moldova was too lazy to investigate, and they said, well, it's probably some teenagers. They thought they can find something of value, but they didn't, like they considered like the foreigners wouldn't care to investigate, and they can't really catch anybody because the police didn't work very well. So they just let it be. And the people I worked for, they were really upset. They said it wasn't about the value of the items. It was about the whole thing that, you feel violated, your house is violated, and some toys were taken, like kids' toys, books. People were so poor in Moldova that all these burglaries happened just because they thought that foreigners would store some cash or dollars or something valuable, or maybe jewelry in the house. But people I worked for, they knew that it's not very safe to leave things behind when they go on vacation. And there were not like security cameras back in the day. There were not any extra security measures. There were not like super tight locks. It was just an ordinary door with a regular lock. So they broke the lock, they stole a few things, and the police wouldn't do much about it. So later on, in 2001, when these people moved out, and they asked me to babysit the house again for a new tenant, because a new family and new tenants would be coming like in a month. And I was paid to babysit the house. As I say, I would go there. Sometimes I bring a friend, or sometimes, I just go there clean. Sometimes I stay overnight there. So it was pretty much like I babysat the house. But one time when I didn't babysit the house, something else happened. Somebody stole the car from the garage, and the car was brand new. It was Skoda. I think it was like a European car. The name was Skoda. I think it was Eastern European car. It was Hungarian car, something Skoda. But it was back in the day, it was an expensive car, if you ask me. It was probably $25,000 or 25,000 euro car. So these people, I forgot to dice my onions. And I already heat up the oil for my onions. Anyways, so I'm gonna dice onions. Sorry guys, I'm all over the place cooking and telling you criminal story. So this, like, what happened? Obviously, people who stole the keys to the car in year 2000 from the same house, obviously these people came, opened the garage, opened the gate, started the car, rode out the car from the garage, and stole the car, right? And when the car was stolen, it was a big deal, because the car was brand new. It was $25,000, and the insurance was involved. And because of the insurance and stuff like that, and because it was it was available car, belonged to a foreigner, and the foreigner couldn't be in the country, they appointed me as a legal representative of this person who got, his car stolen. So I had to go to, police, and I had to go to court, and I have to be like a legal representative of the person whose car got stolen. Hello. I'm doing my live stream. I'm cooking borscht. Did you guys buy Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So, and because I was appointed as a representative of the person who, whose car got stolen, I had to pay for an attorney, for the lawyer. And it was kind of hard to find a lawyer, a good lawyer, because people didn't sue that much. People didn't want to be involved with courts that much, and lawyers would be very expensive. Hello. I'm telling a story. I'm cooking borscht and I'm live streaming. So it was really, really hard to find a good attorney, and you don't know people back then. Like, if you need an attorney and like a lawyer or attorney, they ask you what's your case, and if it's nothing special, they would say, okay, we'll try to do our best, but they wouldn't do much, because I paid like $400 for an attorney to help me investigate and help me find this, burglars, to find these robbers. And of course, there were a lot of evidence. I kept telling them that the house was robbed last year, and I kept telling them that, I was a major witness in all of this, case, because I used to come to the house, and when I left the house, the car was in the garage, And I keep telling the stupid, police that I know who might have done it, that the people who stole the car keys and garage keys and gate keys last year, they just came a year later to pick up the car. And I kept telling them that's because the other case wasn't investigated before properly. That's why they, wouldn't believe me that, the car was stolen with their like original keys. And well, of course, they send the police, they send the detectives to the place, and they see that the gate wasn't broken, the locks to the garage were not broken. Nobody heard like any extra like super like noisy activity. So they didn't want to believe me that, like if you don't see the garage broken in, that must be opened with the original key. That's probably somebody who had the keys who stole the car, right? So instead of investigating and like investigating people next door and the troubled teenagers and the troubled parties, they would come to the neighbors, they started to investigate me, So, those police people, the detectives, they were not very smart. They were not very well educated. They were just feeling power over the young girl who was like 24, who randomly would come to the house and bring her friends. They started to investigate me and asking me what kind of people came to the house. Why would you bring people to the house? And because I wasn't guilty, I could tell the truth. I could list the people who came to the house. They would check my friends. They would ask them questions. When was the last time they came to the house? Did they ever know what kind of car was in the garage? Did they ever share information? So, and all my friends were clean, And in this case, I was a little, intimidated. You know how they take you to the police station and they start intimidating you, like blaming that I had access to the car. I had access to the garage. So instead of looking for the real burglars, they're trying to turn table, to make me the main bad guy. And of course, I had an attorney, like who's supposed to represent the interest of the guy whose car was stolen. And that attorney, he didn't do his job properly. So I was in a situation that I had a lot of pressure, just because I could be the one who would be blamed in this burglary, But later on, somehow, with some like miracle, okay. Here, hello, are you still here? Yeah, that makes me really upset. Like this is my onions, and I'm going to put my beets and my carrots. Nice, and I'm gonna just, okay. So, the investigation would go on, and the car was found. The car was found in some village, and the car engine, like the engine would have a certain number that can be matched to the documents. And what happened, the number that was etched in the, oh my goodness, what I'm doing. The number that was etched on the engine, it didn't match the documents, because you know how people, when they steal the cars, they can peel off the original number and they can mess around and they can put a like totally random number that didn't match any vehicle in the database. So the car was found, and with the people who, where they found the car, they started to do more investigation, and it came back to the neighbors' kids that had like bad company around them. And the investigation came back to the neighbors' kids who were involved in this burglary. And of course, the kids went to jail. Like they went, you know, for like, they went to jail for some time before the court appearance and stuff like that. And of course, as a legal representative, I still had to take time to go to court hearings and be there. And of course, they didn't blame me and my friends for that. But what happened next? A very interesting story. So the parents of the kids started to pay bribes to get them out of jail, and kind of pay like attorneys and lawyers to, you know, to kind of make things better. And the court hearings they postponed court hearings. So instead of like coming for a court hearing on certain day, they come up with a lot of excuses. Their lawyers would come up with a lot of excuses, and they would bribe people in the court. And you should understand, in like early 2000, it was 2001, the system was like really like the justice system was very corrupted. So with the bribes, everybody can be bribed. So with the bribes, okay, now I'm gonna add a little bit of vinegar to, probably I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of vinegar just to make this beautiful pink color. Maybe 2 spoons. So it was really nasty. And what happened next, I started to get phone calls pressuring me to take away my, how you call it? I was a legal representative, so so they pretty much started to pressure me to withdraw the case, to withdraw from the case, not to press charges, just, like make everything hush-hush. And I got like the real threats over the phone that something may happen to me. Like they would, wait for me somewhere in a dark place and hit me with the brick for this stupid stolen car case. And even the car was returned. Even, there were like $1,000 in repairs for the car and stuff like that. The guy should be still, charged for this crime, And I was representing this foreign gentleman, and he was very determined to put them in jail. And he told me to keep going to the court and not to worry anything because he paid for the lawyer. But, I started to get threats over the phone that these people can come and, harm me. And I was 24 years old, and I lived with my dad. I didn't have a bodyguard. I didn't have anybody to protect me. I didn't have any weapons. So how could I protect myself? And I was really scared. So when the hearing took place, like later on, like in a month or two, when the hearing took place, I went to the judge and I told the judge that I got all these threats, and I'm like really scared for my life that this like people, instead of showing up in court and being put in jail for the robbery. So this is the tomato juice. I'm gonna add tomato juice to my So that was a really, really scary situation. And what happened, that guy was 19. The guy who was supposed to serve time for this burglary, he was 19 or 20. And there was a mother of his girlfriend who claimed that his girlfriend got pregnant. And because of this situation, he needs to get out of jail, and, his time serving should be postponed or something. And because they bribed somebody the judge told them that if they won't stop the threats, you know, towards me, it's going to be even worse situation. So they kind of stopped the threats to me. But on the other hand, they kind of like came up with all these excuses. This girlfriend was pregnant, and, you know, that mom of that girlfriend, she would approach me in court without any, you know, like without any, you know, shame. And she would ask me to drop the case and to withdraw the case because her daughter is pregnant and I don't want to ruin this young people's life, blah, blah, blah. But I said, I have no power over it. Like, I'm a legal representative. I have an attorney. My lawyer tells me to do this and that. I'm not going to drop the case. People have to, you know, take charge of the crime. So this lady was really upset with me. She said, oh, you're ruining my daughter's life. You're ruining this young person's life. They're going to have a family. They're going to have a baby. You're heartless and stuff like that. So even I'm telling you this story, I get a little hyper and upset. And you know why I'm getting upset? Because the system is so corrupted. And unfortunately, in Moldova, a lot of cases, is solved with money and corruption. But anyways, at some point, the case was settled. These people paid some kind of fine to repair the damages, to repair the cars. The case was closed. The guy didn't go to jail. I think he got like a probation for a year or two. So the case was settled with the bribes. And nobody's like, if you think about it, nobody's life got ruined, right? So the person, the foreigner, he paid someone to transport his car to Europe, and the car was found and returned to the owner. The case was settled. I probably had like a lot of, you know, anxiety after that because I was young, and who knows who could meet me somewhere in a dark corner and still remember. Okay, now I'm gonna use this bouillon. So, but the interesting thing is that later on, like maybe a year or two later, when I went to this, you know, it was one of the busiest streets in the town. And I meet a neighbor from that, you know, house when I passed it by. And the neighbor, she had a little table where she sold candy, where she sold some like little desserts that were like very popular when people stay on the streets and they resell candy or they resell some, you know, some stuff like cigarettes and stuff. So this lady, the neighbor from the house, she was standing outside and she recognized me and she told me, do you remember that case? Do you remember like living here? I say, yeah, I remember. And it was probably 2002 or 2000, end of 2002, maybe a year later after that burglary, after that robbery. And she said, I need to tell you something. I said, what you want to tell me? She said, do you remember that guy? Oh, that smells so good. That's this better than, I used 3 tablespoons for this big cup of bouillon, and I'm gonna add this to my borscht, just to make it a little bit more rich. I think I didn't dissolve it properly. Okay. And this lady said, do you remember me? So here is my beets. They are ready, and they are ready to be, because I sauteed them with the onions and the carrots, and I put a little bit of tomato juice too to make my borscht nice and red, and a little bit of, oh my goodness, it's such a mess. I'm trying my best. So I'm adding it to my borscht. Bear with me. It's been an hour and 4 minutes since we started our live stream and we started cooking. Thank you, my viewers, for sticking with me. So, and what I'm trying to tell you, that this lady said, do you remember me? Yes. I said, yeah, of course. And she said, do you remember the people who was charged with that crime? I said, yeah, I remember the person. I thought he paid the bribe. I thought he got married with this young girl. He was 19, having a baby. And she said, no, they didn't have a baby. She wasn't even pregnant. The whole story was fake, just to get out of jail, just to get on probation. That guy was on probation. He took this young girl of 18 on a ride in another car, maybe not stolen, hopefully. But he took her on a ride being drunk, and he killed himself and he killed the girl. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Karma is a bitch, you know? And I felt so bad. You know, the guy was probably 20 and the girl was probably 19. So the jerk who's supposed to be in jail and got out of jail with all these lies and bribes, he killed himself and his girlfriend being drunk in the car. That's karma. So you never know what is better. You never know. You have to teach your kids not to break the law. You have to teach your kids not to be involved in the crimes. You have to teach your kids to stay away from bad people, from bad companies and bad influence. You have to protect your kids from, you know, as much as you can from those marginal groups of criminals, you know, and try to teach them right from wrong. And I always remember this mom of that 18-year-old who had the nerve to tell me during the court hearings, who had the nerve to tell me, a 24-year-old, that I'm ruining her daughter's life for putting the guy in jail. I wanted to see that mom again and ask her, would it be better for your daughter to be alive if that guy would be in jail and you wouldn't come up with these crazy stories about her being pregnant and stuff like that? Would it be better for your daughter to be alive, not to be involved with a criminal? And I remember that poor lady. And she blamed me in the court that I'm ruining her daughter's life. Guess what? Her daughter ruined her life with her own hands. So that's the story. Thank you for listening. Thank you for cooking borscht with me. I don't know why did I want to tell you this story, because again, I'm trying this genre. I'm trying this vertical live stream, because, you know, YouTube telling me, giving me the tips of trying this format to attract more views, you know, to try to, you know, boost my channel and make more money, hopefully. Wow, look at this beautiful soup. Oh my goodness, look at this beautiful soup. This is the meat on the bone. I'm gonna slice it later to, wow, beautiful soup. I'm gonna let it boil. I'm gonna use some seasoning. I'm gonna let it boil. I'm gonna prep some herbs, and I'm gonna prep the garlic. Did you like Olga? I want to try it. Thank you. So, that was my story. That was one of my stories from my past. And again, sometimes if I think about it, how I felt back then, I was helping out. I didn't get paid for being involved with this criminal case. I was just doing it because these people was like family to me, and I still keep in touch with them. They come visit me in Florida. Later on, I came to visit them in their country. The kids are grown now. All three kids I helped raise. I helped raise 3 kids in that family. I was a nanny to 3 kids. All 3 kids are doctors now in one of European countries. And I'm very, very proud of that family. And we always remember about this burglary, and we always laugh, not laugh, we always remember that, and we always think that, you know, even if it was stressful, even if it was, you know, not a pleasant experience, everybody was alive and safe, you know, nobody got hurt. And we always think about these young people who were doing wrong, who were involved in criminal activity out of, like, I don't know, out of lack of education, out of lack of good jobs, out of lack of, I don't know, like decency, out of lack of morals, out of the, just because the times were rough. But we always thought about the stupid kids that, started their lives and ended their lives so early just because they were criminals. Okay. I hope I wasn't very like very, I don't know, I wasn't too black telling that story. I mean, I wasn't too dark. I wasn't in a dark place telling this story. Yes, and I thought, like, when I'm telling my stories on YouTube, being live stream, I can't really act. I still relieve some emotions. I told you earlier in my early stream in the morning about like that betrayal and love story and broken heart story. That I thought if I talk it as a therapy, I'm going to relieve it and I'm going to let it go. But the emotions come to you and they still hurt a little bit, but then you tell it and you move on. You not let this bother you anymore. You remembered it, you let it out, you spoke about it, you kind of like analyzed it a little bit, you felt a little hurt, and then you move on. You let it go, life goes on. I'm glad everything ended as it ended. I'm glad I gained a lot of good people, good friends in my life because of those experiences, good and bad. Free therapy. Yeah, exactly. Free therapy. And even if some moments I could regret about my behavior, some moments I don't regret, it was a rough learning experience. Where we come from, for a lot of people of my age, the experiences we had being youth, they made us tough. They made us who we are now. They made us tough cookies. They made us hardworking people. They made us strong-minded people. They made us overcome the challenges we have in life. So I'm blessed that I wasn't hurt physically. I'm blessed I wasn't abused, or I wasn't involved like with this nasty people who could harm me. And I should be very grateful that it was only a learning experience and it didn't go further to traumatize me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for cooking this beautiful borscht with me. I think I'm gonna peel some. Ой, кипит. Ой, как кипит сильно. So it's ready. Все, когда закипел, when it starts boiling again, because my carrots and my beets were pre-cooked, they were sauteed. You only get it to the boil and you're ready to take it off. It's very beautiful. It's very thick. It's very rich. I'm gonna cut my beautiful herbs. Так, у меня есть укропчик, петрушка и зеленый лучок. And I'm gonna add some garlic at the end. And here is my borscht. Оля, напиши мне только одно слово. Ты слышала эту страшную новость из России? Напиши мне только одно слово, да или нет. And we're gonna close this topic. Спасибо, что были со мной. No future. Хорошо, я тебя поняла. That's right. Поэтому у меня сегодня такое настроение. Извините, если что не так. Буду кушать свой борщ. Remember that movie? Помните, как это? Та-та-тара-дара-да-та-тара. What was the movie? Когда эти звери ездили, like the circus movie. What was the movie? The cartoon. And there was a tiger who was tiger, and he was burned during the stunt, and they would keep telling why he is so sad. Послушай песню группы Elysium. Ага, спасибо, обязательно послушаю. Тяжело на душе, неприятно, какое-то такое чувство горя. вселенского какого-то горя. Не знаю почему. Я никогда там не жила, но какое-то такое тяжелое, очень тяжелое чувство. Вот. И there was a tiger. There was what is the movie? Madagascar. Madagascar. Have you seen Madagascar? One of the movies. Remember the tiger? He was so cute. He was burned during the stunt, and he was very sad. And there was a narration, and it's American. It's Madagascar. I think it's Nickelodeon, or maybe not Nickelodeon. It's Universal movie. And they would say the tiger. Я запостила в инсте, да, я в Фейсбуке запостила. Я в Фейсбуке запустила. Да-да-да, Madagascar. And they would say, the tiger is so sad. He doesn't care about anything. He just wants to sit down and eat his borscht. Remember that? I vividly remember that. And my kids were always laughing about this little moment. They would say, Mom, he's just like you. When you're mad, you always want to eat your borscht. And I said, yeah, because when I'm sad, when I'm grieving, when I'm not in a good mood, borscht makes things a little better. I don't know what is your dish to make things a little better. Madagascar, ты помнишь этого тигра? Do you remember this tiger? He was so cute. Не, я про песню «Народное творчество живет». Ага, Элизиум, обязательно послушаю. Да-да-да, Элизиум. Вот. And so today is a good day for borscht. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for cooking my borscht. See, I'm using this. I'm gonna put this. And please hug your families a little tighter tonight. Count your blessings. Be kind to each other. Be grateful for what you have, for your beautiful families, for your beautiful loved ones, for people you care about. We all need a little optimism. See you later. See you later. Stay tuned. I'm going to take you to a nice hotel. I'm going to show you them. We're going to have a fun weekend. And on Monday, I'm planning to be by the Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to show you the beautiful water. I'll take you to the beach. I'll do a live stream from the beach and show you beautiful Florida. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing. I love you all. Bye-bye. Kate B here. Have a blessed weekend. Bye-bye.